Hello everyone, this is Dr. S. Kanimuli, Associate Professor, Department of Agricultural Biotechnology, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Today we are going to see about synthesis of nanoparticles. In this topic, we are going to see what is nanotechnology, what is nanoparticles, what are the different approaches to synthesis nanoparticles, what are the methods to available to synthesis of nanoparticles under these physical methods, chemical methods, biological methods, so everything will come. That only we are going to um, learn in this lecture. So first we will see what is nanoscience. So nanoscience is the study of nanomaterials, their properties and related phenomena. So in this nanoscience, we are going to see the what are the nanomaterials available and what are the properties of that material and the related phenomena. Okay. So what is nanotechnology? So nanotechnology is the application of nanoscience to produce devices and products. Okay, so nanotechnology is used to produce the any products. Okay, any products, or it may be any devices. Okay, so it is used in various fields due to its having the properties. Okay, due to the physical and chemical properties. What is nanobiotechnology? So nanobiotechnology is a nanomaterials which is used for biological applications. Okay, it is used in various medicine field or drug delivery, pharmaceutical industries field. So it is used for various industries, various, particularly for medicine field. So for business of medicine, for the drug delivery applications, and it's used for nano boards, nano rods. Okay, so having various application in the medicine field. So in this slide, we are seeing about the comparison between the macro, micro, and nano. So here I give an example for a macro is one person, one apple, and one ant. Okay, so one person is 6 feet tall, and it is equal to 2 billion nanometer, and apple size is 8 centimeter, and it is equal to 80 million nanometer. The ant size is 5 millimeter, and it is equal to the 5 million nanometer. So micro example is human hair and bacteria. This all comes under the category of micro. So in the micro, you can see the human hair. What is the range of human hair in nanometer is 75,000 nanometer, and bacteria range is 2,000 nanometer. Okay. So what is the big is a nano? Nano example we can say DNA, carbon tubes, buckyballs. That is the example I given here. So what's the ranges of buckyball is 1 nanometer. What's the range of nanometer range is for DNA is 2, and the nanometer range for carbon nanotube is 1 to 3 nanometers. So next, we are going to learn about what is nanoparticles. Nanoparticles, it's very important in nanoscience, right? So now what is nanoparticle? Nanoparticle is any material that having at least one of its dimension in the range of 1 to 100 nanometer. So nanoparticle means that should be in the range of 1 to 100 nanometer. What is nano? This nano word derived from the Greek. Okay, that is the word of nanos. Okay, what is the meaning of nanos? Nanos means dwarf or small. Okay, so there of 1974, Norio Taniguchi. Okay, the scientists only discovered the coined the term of nanotechnology. Okay, so who is coined the term of nanotechnology means the Norio Taniguchi in the year of 1974. Okay, so nanometers is equal to 1 billionth of the meter. That is, it is 10 power of minus 9 nanometer. Okay, so here I give an example for now, give an example for the nanoparticles. For example, we can say in the population, rural population of India, we that is we means you and me, the nanomaterials, nanoparticles. Okay, compared to the whole population. Okay, so that is the population of India is 1 billion or 100 crores. Each Indian, you and me, each Indian, you and me is nano in comparison to the total population of India. So another example for nano particle is 1 rupee. Okay, so 1 rupee is in 100 crore rupees. Okay, 1 rupee in 100 crore rupees, right? So this 1 rupee. is a nanomaterial. Okay, 100 crore rupees the macro one. Okay, what are the next we are going to see approaches of nanotechnology. What are the different approaches means? Only two approaches. One is top down method, another one is bottom up method. What is top down method means? Top to down. That is, we are going to split the nanoparticle by using the bulk metal. Okay, so bulk metal, then we are going to convert the bulk metal to powder form. Then this powder are used for this of nanoparticles. What is bottom up method? The bottom of method atoms. Okay, so you have to take oil and this in this bottom of method atoms or from the atoms to nanoparticles. Okay, so the atoms are joined by one, then it's form a cluster, then clusters are used to build the nanoparticles. Okay, so on different methods of this of nanoparticle is physical method, chemical method, biological method. But these three methods are fully based on the two approaches like top down and bottom up method. Okay, so these methods are fully the principle fully based on the bottom up and top down approaches. So first method is physical method. So physical method is divided into two types. One is mechanical milling, another one is vapor method. Mechanical milling, vapor method. So mechanical milling again divided into two types, that is high energy ball milling method. Another one is melt mixing method. Okay. So two method, high energy ball milling method. Another method is melt mixing method. In the vapor method, it is divided into four types: physical vapor deposition, laser ablation, laser pyrolysis, and another one is sputter deposition. So these are all four method comes under the category of vapor method. So first we will see the mechanical method under physical one. So first mechanical method is high energy ball milling method. So the simplest method, and it consists of a container. It's filled with a hardened steel or tungsten carbide balls. Okay, so it's a simplest method. High energy ball milling method is a simplest method. It consists of container which is filled with a hardened steel and tungsten carbide balls. Okay, and what's the ratio of ball in the so the material is 2 is to 1 ratio. The ball should be 2. And again, the container is filled with the air, any one of the air, or okay, or that should be inert one, okay, or inert gases you have to fill the container. And you after once you filled over, then you have to rotate at high speed around the central axis. Okay, so when during the rotation, what happened? The material is forced to the walls. Okay, just forcefully strike on the walls, and it is pressed against the wall. Finally it produces the nanoparticles. So high energy ball milling method is the simplest method. It consists of container, that container filled with the hardened steel. Okay, it can take the steel or tungsten carbide balls. Okay, so you got in this container how to fill the material. Okay, so material means what are the nanoparticles are going to synthesize, that particular are going to add in the container. Okay, so what's the ratio of material to ball means 2 is to 1 ratio. So balls 2 and materials 1. Once you have once you have taken the balls and materials in the container, again it is filled with some of the gases, inert gases. Okay. After once it's over, then you have to rotate the container at high speed, which is around the central axis. So once during the rotation, what happened here? The material is forcefully strike on the walls, it will produce the nanoparticles. So our next second method in physical method is melt mixing method. It is used to form or arrest a nanoparticle in the glass. Okay, so nanoparticles can be formed by mixing molten streams of metal at high velocity with turbulence. Okay, so here nanoparticles are formed by molten stream of metal. Okay, so here we need molten stream, okay, molten streams of metal at high velocity with turbulence. Okay, so here example given that molten stream of copper and boron and molten stream of Ti. So finally, the molten stream of copper and boron, then Ti to form a nanoparticle of titanium diboride. Okay, so this is the method of melt mixing. So here we need mixing molten stream metal. That is very important for this of nanoparticles under melt mixing process. So second method in vapor method is laser ablation, physical vapor deposition method, laser pyrolysis method, sputter deposition method. So these are methods, various methods available under the category of vapor method. So in this lecture, we are mainly focused on laser ablation method. So nanoparticles by laser ablation. So here we are going to discuss the nanoparticle by laser ablation method. For that we need a laser. That laser ablate on a solid target. That the target lies in the gaseous or liquid environment, and collection of nanoparticles in the form of nanopowder or colloidal solution. So laser ablation method are used to finally produce the product. That product should be in the nanopowder form or it may in the colloidal solution. Here the nanoparticles are synthesized by using the laser. Okay, so laser ablating at solid target that lies in the gaseous or liquid environment. Okay, and it's an easy, fast, straightforward method for nanoparticle synthesis compared to the other methods, and it does not require long reaction types or any multi-steps for synthesis of nanoparticles compared to the chemicals. Okay, chemical method. So it's a easy method, fast method, and straightforward method for synthesis of nanoparticles compared to the other method. It does not require any long reaction times or any multi-steps method, multi-steps. Okay, so in the chemical synthesis method, first you have to add the separation agent, then capping agent, then you have to add. But in this laser ablation method, there is no need of any multi-step of method for mixing of nanoparticles. It does not require the use of toxic hazardous precursor for nanomaterials. Okay, so here you don't need to ask any toxic, any hazardous precursor for synthesis of nanoparticles, and thus is friendly, environmental friendly, and laboratory safety method compared to other method. Okay, so it's an environmental friendly method and also it's a laboratory safety method. So here I give an example for this of nanoparticle by laser ablation method. So here example for silver and also copper. If want to synthesize silver nanoparticles by laser ablation, means for that we need high purity silver. Or if you want to synthesize nanoparticles of copper, means we need high purity copper. Okay, so for first you will see this of since of silver nanoparticle. Okay, so in the silver nanoparticle you have to slice it and should place on the bottom of the glass vessels. That glass vessel having a 20 ml of distilled water. Okay, so then the glass vessels irradiated with the laser beam for 30 minutes. Here they are using silver nanoparticle for they are using for neodymium YAG laser for synthesis of silver nanoparticle. Finally, it gives the yellow color colloidal solution. So the yellow color colloidal solution indicates that formation of silver nanoparticles. For synthesis of copper nanoparticle by laser ablation method, we need high purity of copper slice. Okay, that should be placed on the bottom of the glass vessels that containing 20 ml of distilled water. Okay, then again this copper nanoparticles containing vessels irradiated with focused output of 1064 nanometer of pulse neodymium or AG laser for 30 minutes. Finally, it will produce the color of light green color. So it is indicates the formation of copper nanoparticles. So in this laser ablation method, here nanoparticles, this is occurs in the water. It produces the colloidal solution. That solution is or ultra pure. pure. So what is ultra pure means? It does not containing any ions. Okay, does not containing any ions, and this facilitates the use of these nanoparticles in biological and biochemical in vivo applications. Okay, so you can use this nanoparticle for in vivo applications also. So in the event of generation, mostly the nanoparticle occurs in the water. Finally, produce the colloidal solution. The colloidal solution or ultra pure. It does not containing any ions. Okay, and it is used for various biochemical and biological in vivo applications. The produced nanoparticles can easily functional with the ligand of choice through the subsequent addition of ligand into the nanoparticle colloidal solution after its synthesis or by performing the ablation in a suitable solvent. Okay, so once the colloidal solution are produced under the laser ablation method, you can functionalize with the other ligands. Okay, you can functionalize with the enzymes like that. Okay, and you can do the fabrication process for various applications. Okay, it's fully based on the application. Okay, so the fabrication and functionation is fully based on the applications. Next method in synthesis of nanoparticle is chemical method. In this chemical method, we need chemicals. Okay, so we need the chemicals. We need any, and we need stabilizing agent, capping agents. Based on that only, we can synthesize the uh, nanoparticle by using the chemical method. What are the advantages compared to the physical method? Okay, what are the advantages mean? It's a simple technique and it requires inexpensive instrumentation and low temperature requirement for synthesis. Doping of foreign atom also possible during the synthesis, and large quantities of material can be obtained by chemical synthesis. Synthesis of variety size of shapes are also possible. Also self assembly and patterning is also possible. Okay, so it's a simple technique and it requires inexpensive instrumentation. Okay, so it requires inexpensive instrumentation. Okay, so in this laser ablation method, we need laser that instrument part, right? So here we know don't want any inexpensive instrumentation, and we can this is the nanoparticle at a low temperature. Okay, and the doping of foreign atoms also possible during this, and large quantities of nanoparticles synthesized by chemical synthesis method. Synthesis of variety of sizes and shapes are also possible. Also, self-assembly or patterning is also possible. So here some of the basic principle. Okay, the basic principles of synthesis of nanoparticles. So what are the basic principles mean? For that we need metal salt. Okay, if you want to use the silver nanoparticles means you can take the silver nitrate, silver acetate like that. If you want to use the zinc oxide nanoparticle means you can take the any silver acetate, silver nitrate like that. You have to take the one metal salt. Salt. It's fully based on the your metal particles. Okay, and apart from that we need capping agent plus reducing agents. Okay, and if you need the heater you can apply the heat. If you don't want the heater, no need to apply heat. Okay, so it is also fully based on your synthesis of nanoparticles, usually based on your metal. Okay, so finally it produces the metal nanocolloids. Okay, so what are the reducing agents available for use of metal nanoparticle means sodium citrate, NaBH4, and ascorbic acids are available reducing agent for use of metal nanoparticles. What are the capping agents? Capping agents is used for nanoparticle means thiol, citrate, polymers. Like what are the polymers? Then PVA, PVP. So these are the polymers are used to synthesis of nanoparticle, which is act as a capping agent. Okay. So these are the basic principle of use of metal nanoparticles. What's the role? What's the role of stabilizing agent? It's prevent the uncontrollable growth of nanoparticles, and it prevent the particle aggregation, and it's control the growth rate, and it's also control the particle size, allow particle solubility in various solvents. Okay, so it prevent the uncontrollable growth of particles, prevent the particle aggregation, control growth rate, control particle size, and allow the particle solubility in various solvent. So main role of Stabilizing agent is control the growth of particle and control the particle aggregation. So once it is particles get aggregated means we put on this the nanoparticle which is not used for the various applications. Okay, so stabilization is very important for the nanoparticle under by chemical method. So here I give an example for this of silver nanoparticle by simple method. Okay, for that we need water, centrifuge tube, AgNO3, solution, chemical, NaBHO4, and ST solution. These are chemicals. These are the material we need to synthesize the silver nanoparticles. How we can out of this is mean first you have to take the 1 ml of water in a 1.5 ml of microcentrifuge tube. To this add silver nitrate to the above tube. Immediately add sodium PHO4, that is sodium borate solution to it, and you have to add SDS solution to the above solution. SDS means sodium dodecyl sulfate, okay, solution to the above solution, and you have to agitate the tube vigorously. Finally, you can see the yellow color, which is indicate the formation of silver nanoparticle. So take 1 ml of water in a 1.5 ml of micro centrifuge tube, and you have to add AgN silver nitrate to the above tube. After that, immediately you have to add the NaPHO solution to it and add ST solution to the above solution. You have to agitate the tube vigorously. Finally, you can see the yellow color. The yellow color indicates the formation of silver nanoparticles. So the third method in the synthesis of nanoparticle is biological method. So in the biological method, it's fully is a green synthesis method. Okay, so it's a green synthesis method. It's a eco-friendly method. Okay, so here we don't want here we are not using any hazardous and chemical like stabilizing agents, reducing agent, capping agent like that. You don't need to use this because here the microbes or enzymes or plants which used which plays the role of capping, stabilizing, reducing agent. Okay, so here it's a green synthesized method, eco-friendly method, and okay, so here you can use the microbes as a biological method, enzymes or plants as my biological material to synthesize the nanoparticle. Why to use the biological method? What is necessary to use the biological method? It means you can reduce the toxic chemical concentration. It's an eco-friendly method, economically viable method, easier to tailor size, shape, and nature by modifying the culture, pH, nutrient, and temperature. Okay, so you can reduce toxic chemical concentration. You can reduce the toxic chemical. Okay, so no need to add the no, it's non toxic method. Okay, so non toxic method and eco-friendly method because we are not using any toxic material here. Okay, so this is eco-friendly method and economically viable method. Okay, and you can easily change the size, shape, and nature of the material by modifying the culture, pH, nutrient, and temperature. Okay, so it's these are the advantages of using biological method compared to the chemical method. So this is the overall principle of synthesis of nanoparticle by using the biological method. Okay, so here you can use the bacteria, fungi, or enzyme or yeast, which are all biological material. Okay, so these biological material and also you can take any plant part. Okay, you can take the stems, you can take the roots, flowers, and the leaves, which is the plant tissue, the phytochemicals. Okay, so these are used, okay, for synthesis of nanoparticles. So we have to take this any one of this one and metal salt any one of the metal. If you want to choose, if you want to synthesize nanoparticle silver nitrate, if you want to synthesize zinc nanoparticle means zinc as just zinc nitrate, you can take anything. After that, you have to stir it vigorously by using um, using the stirrer. Okay, so you can from this you can change the concentration pH. Okay, so the time was also very important. pH was also very important for this nanoparticle. Finally, give the metal nanoparticle solution. Okay, so here you can see the final once it is or once you put it how to purify and you can recover this one. Finally, it produces the nanoparticle powder. Okay, so in the biological method, the final product of nanoparticle is in powder form. Powder form. Okay, once you got a nanoparticle, you have to characterize the nanoparticle by various methods like the SEM, TEM, DLS, XRD. Okay, SEM means like various physical chemical characteristics means the XR, the FTR also used. Here I have mentioned FTR. Okay, FTR is used for the functional, know the functional group. Okay, and TEM, SEM, these are all the technique are used to characterize the nanoparticles. Okay, and biofunctionation method means you can, after the once you have this nanoparticle, you can functionalize with the any one of the material. Finally, you can use for the various applications. Okay, so next for here use of bacteria. Bacteria are considered a potential biofactory for synthesis of nanoparticles such as gold, silver, platinum, lead, and cadmium. Okay, so here bacteria are considered a potential biofactory. Okay, such as potential biofactory for the of nanoparticles: gold, silver, platinum, lead, and cadmium. Okay, so here bacteria are known to produce inorganic material either intracellularly or extracellularly. Okay, so bacteria is used for this of gold, silver, platinum, lead, and cadmium. Okay, so Pseudomonas, isolated from the silver mines, has been shown to produce a silver nanoparticle within periplasmic space. Okay, another example is Morganella species. Okay, so it's isolated from the insect to the midgut. Okay, which is used to, this is the nanoparticle. There is silver nanoparticles. Okay, which is produced extracellular crystalline here, which is produced from the silver nitrate, so nitrate precursors. Okay, so here two examples are given: Pseudomonas species, another one is Morganella species. Okay, so Pseudomonas is also used for synthesis of silver nanoparticle. Morganella species also used for synthesis of silver nanoparticles. So next, biological one used for this of nanoparticle is yeast. Okay, so yeast Candida glabrata, and this is a Saccharomyces bomb, which are also used for the first time in the biosynthesis of cadmium sulfate nano biosynthesis of cadmium sulfide uh, nanocrystals. Okay, so these are two yeast, okay, used for the first time in the biosynthesis of cadmium sulfate. Okay, so what are the two yeast? Candida glabrata. These are Saccharomyces formed. Okay, so these are the two yeast are used for synthesis of cadmium sulfate nanocrystals. So recently, very lot of yeast strains are used and identified, which are used for the various nanoparticle synthesis. Okay, for producing the gold nanoparticles. Okay, what the role of yeast here means? We are used to controlling the growth and other cellular activities and control the size and shape of the nanoparticles can be achieved by using the yeast as a biological material for this of nanoparticles. Okay, so nowadays a lot of various yeast strains are identified, which is used for these of various nanoparticles. Okay, and gold nanoparticles also synthesized by using the yeast strains. Okay, so yeast here is used to controlling the growth and other cellular activities and to control the size and shape of the nanoparticles. Use of fungi. Okay, so bioreduction of aqueous AuCl4 ions was carried out using the fungus Verticillium species that lead to the formation of gold nanoparticle with fairly well-defined dimensions and good monodispersity. Okay, so Verticillium species are used for synthesis of gold nanoparticle from AuCl4 ion. Okay, fungi are known to secrete much higher amounts of protein that might have significantly higher productivity of nanoparticles in biosynthetic approach. Okay, so here I give an example of fungi is Verticillium species for this of gold nanoparticles. In this fungi secrete more amount of proteins. Okay, which so it gives the high protective nanoparticles in the biosynthetic approach. Use of plant. Quantum dots have huge application in nanotechnology, and plant have been observed to be a good source for synthesis of quantum dots. Okay, so quantum dot having a huge applications in the nanotechnology field. In this nanotechnology field, plants have been observed to be a good source for use of quantum dots. Okay, so here I give an example: alpha alpha roots, which is used for it having ability for absorbing silver from agar medium and transferring them to the shoot of the plant in the same oxidation state. Okay, so next using geranium, okay, so leaf extract, the silver ions were reduced to silver nanoparticles. Okay, so geranium leaf extracts are used for synthesis of silver nanoparticle. In addition to individual pure metallic AG, silver and gold, bimetallic AG, that is silver and gold nanoparticle using Asdattica indic leaf growth have also been researched extraordinarily. Okay, so not only monometallic nanoparticles, this is also bimetallic nanoparticle are synthesized by using the plants. Plants having the advantages compared to the other microbes because it does not cause any hazardous any side effects. Okay, when not side effect means if you are synthesizing the particular lab means it will cause any uh, infection during this of nanoparticle, right? So by when you are using the plants that when you are using the plants formulas of nanoparticle, that complex will not occur. So this is the biosynthesis principle for by biological method. Okay, so for that you need mother culture, then you have to inoculate, you have to collect the pre-inoculum, then you have to grow till in the MB for 24 hours. Okay, so then additional filters are sterilized aqueous solution of K3 FeCN6 plus K4 FeCN6. The ratio is 2:1 millimolar ratio. Finally, you have to incubate in the shaker at 200 RPM at room temperature for 1 day. Okay. Finally, the product will be produced. The product will be produced by various method like XRGF, cement, and DLS like. Okay. So then it is functional. Then again it is used for various applications. So what's the mechanism behind this of nanoparticle is so widely accepted mechanism for synthesis of cellular nanoparticle is the presence of enzyme nitrate reductase. So enzyme nitrate reductase is in nitrate cycle, which is responsible for conversion of nitrate to nitrate. Okay, so nitrate reductase enzyme responsible for conversion of nitrate to nitrate. So during the hydrolysis process, nitrate is converted to nitrate, and an electron will be shuttled to the incoming silver ions. This has been excellently described in the organism of Licheniformes and Licheniformes is known to secrete the cofactor NADH and NADH dependent enzyme, especially nitrate reductase enzyme. Okay, that might be responsible for bioreduction of and subsequent formation of silver nanoparticles. So this is the mechanism of this nanoparticles.